Breaking news, Gowdy drops massive hint about what's in FISA memo. Just yesterday, House Republicans voted to release the much-talked-about memo that has Democrats in panic mode. The memo is now being reviewed by President Trump, who will decide whether to release it to the public. Speaker of the House Paul Ryan said the FBI needs to be cleansed after the controversial memo detailed alleged surveillance abuses by the U.S. government. He added, "I think we should disclose all this stuff. It's the best disinfectant. Accountability, transparency for the sake of the reputation of our institutions." While most Republicans agree the memo needs to be released, Democrats and the mainstream media are doing everything they can to discredit the damning information and label Republicans as liars. If released to the public, the memo is sure to enrage millions of Americans and could finally prove that President Trump has been right the whole time. Another Republican who is urging the memo to be released is none other than Trey Gowdy, the outspoken congressman from South Carolina. Gowdy is determined to see the memo released and went on Fox News on Sunday for an interview, and what he said makes the release of the memo that much more enticing. According to Western Journal, Rep. Trey Gowdy spoke with Chris Wallace on Fox News Sunday and discussed certain clues that might be found in the controversial document, which may be released as early as this week by the House Intelligence Committee. If you think your viewers want to know whether or not the dossier was used in court proceedings, if you are interested in who paid for the dossier, if you are interested in Christopher Steele's relationship with Hillary Clinton and the Democratic National Committee, then, yes, you will want the memo to come out, Gowdy told Wallace. Do you want to know whether or not the primary course in these court proceedings had a bias against one candidate? Gowdy asked rhetorically. Do you want to know whether or not he said he'd do anything to keep that candidate from becoming president? The question of the particular source opposed to President Donald Trump may be in reference to former British Christopher Steele, who wrote the dossier, suggested the Daily Caller News Foundation. Speculation arises as to whether or not Steele had been hired by opposition research firm Fusion GPS, who was reportedly paid $1 million by the Clinton campaign and DNC to investigate Trump. Throughout 2016, Steele met with FBI agents to discuss the investigation, with the DOJ allegedly using Steele's work in an application for a surveillance warrant against former Trump campaign advisor Carter Page. It was also around the same time last June that former FBI Director James Comey stated the dossier was salacious and unverified. Republican lawmakers have raised concern about how heavily both the FBI and DOJ have relied on the dossier for warrants against American citizens, as well as for the investigation into alleged collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. The lawmakers are also pressing for information on whether or not the agencies vetted the dossier before using its information in any FISA application. Though the memo remains classified for now, many Republicans are hoping for the Intelligence Committee to release the document, though it's bound to meet up with some resistance. Democratic lawmakers have accused the classified documents as being a set of talking points geared towards helping Trump, with DOJ Committee Chairman Devin Nunes claiming its release would be extremely reckless. Yet, back in June, Nunes admitted that his investigators had uncovered evidence that the government was abusing surveillance practices, though it seemed to fall on deaf ears. Gowdy added that the information contained in the document is based on information already provided by those agencies and has suggested that Nunes allow the DOJ and FBI to view the memo prior to its release. There's nothing in this memo the department is not already aware of. Democrats realize that their only hope of coming out of this clean is to place all the blame on the president and label the disclosure of the information as reckless. The American people deserve to know what is happening in our government, and the memo is key to discovering how dirty the left is. President Trump has once again proven to be smarter than the Democrats, who have been exhausting every effort to get Trump removed from office.